All right, welcome to the Foresight Scrolls Channel. Here we're going to examine charts and trade setups based on the Foresight Suite for Tradingview Indicators. We take a look at stocks, indices, cryptos, and commodities. If you want me to take a look at something specific, just drop it in the chat, which currently I don't see on screen, so that's an issue. If you want me to take a look at something, do drop that in the chat and I'll figure it out. If you're unfamiliar with the suite and the indicator functions, you can watch the demonstration video on our channel, or you can go to our website, ForesightScrolls.com. We mix the powerful indicators, the seriousness of those, with some fun around a mythology story, and you can find out about that on the website. I was trying desperately just to get on to get this thing started today because I was busy this afternoon, and I just turned things on and saw that the markets were dumping out after hours. Crypto was starting to dump out, and there's something really, really cool that I wanted to just go ahead and try to catch in real time. So there's actual proof of this. You can see the indicators in action. We've got a couple of signals here. We have a premonition here, which is our main Foresight indicator, though it works in tandem with our other three, including the mystic spell down here, which is something I follow very closely myself. So we get the signal here, right? So we're getting the signal at the tippy top. That's not always the case. You know, not everything's perfect. You can see here we get a signal and it sort of goes sideways and dumps out a little more before it starts to retrace. But here, in fact, we're on the 4-hour chart, and so I can't really do the math on this very quickly. Sometime yesterday, I would think we get the premonition signal. We actually catch an incredible, just surgical top on this thing. We dump down first into our wave of Eon. I want you to be able to see this. If I turn off, there we go. We turn off the Foresight there. That what you're seeing here is what we call the flow of time. This blue line that you see, that's what we're really, really watching, because that's the true sort of macro flip in trend. You can see here that it falls right into it, and we get roughly like not quite a day there, sitting like right on top of it, and you can tell it's just trying to bleed. And when it broke below it, we get our oblivion signal, and we know we're off to the races at that point. Sometimes you do get these back-to-backs, but you can see here volume is really low. We're doing nothing here. We're actually getting a flip of our line over the main trend, and it sort of prints back and forth here a few times. But generally speaking, when you see a Genesis, you're going to get a pump. When you see an Oblivion, you're going to get a dump. And so right now I'm thinking this is just a little bit more than normal, considering, we'll take a look at something, considering if we go over to one of the leaders in the clubhouse as far as stocks goes, one of the biggest market cap, if not the biggest, I haven't checked in a few days, the biggest by market cap stock that we have. This is after hours. You can see it closed at 185.62, and after hours it is dumping out. I mean, it's down not quite $10, but just for an after hours move, you know, it's down 3% already, which is big. And you can see that. Let's see if we see anything specific here. Again, this is on the 4-hour chart on NVIDIA. We've sort of followed this thing up. It's been stair-stepping up. We've gotten a couple of this signal wasn't the best, but oftentimes this is what you'll see. You'll notice this again and again. This happens with other indicators out there too, free indicators and paid indicators. We think our professional indicator is one of the best on the market just because it is working sort of seamlessly with the other few indicators in the suite. And so you'll see this thing sometimes where you get a pump, and it's, you know, technically this is the top, but this is a liquidity grab. There's really nothing up here but shorts for people that are trying to short this. So it is calling the top here technically. And so this move was most likely always going to happen. So it sort of pumps up, it gets this liquidity grab on shorts, and then it's dumping out. And so I'm really curious to see. This is a Friday here in the States, and I'm really curious to see what it's looking like on Monday morning, since we're getting this Friday dump, and I'm not sure if there's anything in the news that's correlated. Probably something worth checking out. So this is NVIDIA. If you're unfamiliar, by the way, with the scripts and how, excuse me, and how that they work, we mentioned this in the open, but you should really go to our channel and watch the video that describes how the indicators are working, and you can check that out on our website, also foresightscrolls.com. That's where you can actually purchase the indicator suite. We've got a Discord community too, and there are aspects of that are free, so you can get into that community for free if you're not really looking for the suite currently. But I really think you'll be interested in it if you take a look at it. So let's start back over here. Sorry, I started out with ETH, and normally I'm going to work left to right, where we'll check out an indice, we'll check out a stock, we'll check out Bitcoin, just because it's the granddaddy of the cryptos. Perhaps another crypto, but maybe a commodity, depending on what I've looked at that day and thought to show everyone. So right now we're looking at the SPY, which is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. You can tell this was the what they like to call the Liberation Day dump, back starting in it was like March, I think, late February into March. This is really cool too. You really get to see our indicator perform here. A couple of things happen here. We sort of hit this top and just chop straight sideways. You can see how we got a short spell. I won't really go into it so much here. These white triangles are generally going to be more powerful than the gray ones, but the gray ones are really good at catching surprises sometimes also. So we're paying attention most of the time just to our short spell and our long spell. And you can see how they're really indicative of the direction of price in most cases, excuse me. And so you see we get a premonition here that puts us on the ready to short this thing. You don't necessarily have to short it on premonitions. Ideally speaking, and I'll slow down for this one. Ideally speaking, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see a premonition, because it's a premonition, right? It's like this thing that's going to happen. You can certainly play these premonitions just on their own, and you can probably tell that from the chart. But you get a premonition, and down here on the mystic spell, it's a bar. Was that like maybe 2-3 bars later, we get the short spell, and we also get more confluence with our down triangles right here. So that tells us a move is most likely coming our way. And it desperately tried to chop sideways, but in my view, this thing was coming. This thing was going to happen. And if you know technical analysis, if you follow charts, you can be pretty good about knowing when a market or a particular asset or symbol it needs for the price to come down. There's no such thing as just straight up forever. In order for it to be healthy, in order for it to not be real volatile, it needs to go up and down. It's like breathing in and out. And so we knew right here this thing was coming down. Now, do we know that it was going to come down whatever we dropped? It was like 20% right there in the, maybe not. Although we do know that we're at the very top of a big macro pattern going back decades. So we thought that it'd be most likely that we see a few of these over the course of a couple of years. We'll see how things play out. But so we get this signal, we get extra confluence down here, beautiful time to short. As you can see, when it falls this fast, it's really setting off a lot of alarm bells here, and so it sort of grinds through these couple of signals right here, and then we get the bounce. I think this is where the tariffs started to be announced, and I think I covered this on another stream. And then if I'm not mistaken, it was right there when President Trump did the the speech in public about the tariffs. And then we all know what happened after that, which was this incredible dump. And the institutions are just waiting with really fat pockets right down here because they know this thing is coming. They buy up all this cheap stock down here. And then we see it do something incredible, something very bizarre. And we see it get this nice double bottom or this W bounce here. And then it just goes on this march since May all the way to October in this sort of, I don't know, it's like 45-degree angle uptrend. That's probably, you see I have that marked out here, but it's most likely some kind of a parallel channel. I think I've marked this out before. Yeah. So you can see we just sort of ping pong around in here, and then we really start to throw a lot of signals down here on our mystic spell, which, hey, says something, is probably incoming, and that's what we're getting today. It looks like for the first time since we've been in this channel, since May, for the very first time, not only did we break it, but this is it hit it right at market close, and now we've dumped out in the after hours. And look what's happening here, which is pretty cool, is it's slowing down right on one of our echoes of time. These are calculated support, so they're not true pivots. Like most people will just draw out supports like here. Let me draw a couple of these so you guys can see them, like here, so you can see how it bounces here. Nothing's wrong with that. It's a good way to draw supports, but you can see right here, since it was sort of exhausted and done, it just made minced meat of this. So if you were sitting right there trying to take a long, you just got ate up. But it does look like it's slowing down on our supports, which are mathematical. They're determining price action and movement and some volatility over time and making these determinations about where supports might be naturally. And they're not always going to be there either. It takes a certain amount of data, and depending on what price has been doing, it may not actually show you them all the time, but that's okay with us because we want to know that they're accurate. So let's move on. Speaking really fast, talking a lot here. I think I'm really excited about this dump that's happening in the market. So we've checked out the SPY. We've looked at NVIDIA. You can see in most, and this is more true with stocks, where you'll get patterns like this in the Mystic. And so a lot of times with stocks, I like to really wait this out until I get some sort of a confluence on a signal here. So we get a premonition. You can tell down here we get the long spell. Well, it's sort of hidden down there, the long spell. But when we get our white triangle, and that's just telling us that there are multiple factors at play here, and I'm going to long that thing. And so there's a long here. Now we're normally only just trying to get a few percent, but you get over 5% there, which is awesome for a stock. We get another one here. You see, we get the pump. These things look real good in this area, in particular on NVIDIA. You can tell these, all of these are just really, really good signals. Here we have confluence both down here and down here, which is great. Because if it's not clear, you don't really see it on screen. Well, look right here. Just because we have spells, it doesn't mean that we're getting premonitions. So whenever you do get a premonition and a spell or a confluence spell together, then that's a really strong signal, and we want to take that. So yeah, maybe we're just getting started with the channel here too. So I don't think we have anyone watching. I just remembered I wanted to have this chat up, but I'm not quite sure where to grab it. So I'm hoping at some random point, at some time down the road, someone will be watching this video and see how we were right on top of it during this dump. And I'm going to refer to it. And even though this is a live stream, try to point people back to it. Although the signals will still be there, we'll be able to see that at any given point. So you see how this is rolling down here. We have the same sort of thing up top. And, you know, this thing just won't keep doing this, you know, forever. So once we get this signal here, what we see is it go down here, grabs liquidity, and then it's off to the next leg of the run. It's sort of just working its way up here, and we're turning over, and we should get a spell there, I'm assuming. But, you know, with this price moving as fast as it is, we may not. Let's jump on to Bitcoin, and I don't know what else needs to be said. We're looking at a 4-hour chart. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, one thing that's very clear right here on this chart is, again, you're getting real clean. Look at this, so good. We're getting our oblivion crosses, and we see how just price falls, and when we get to Genesis, it's going to be up. I mean, if you're just patient, you could play these things. The flow of time, by the way, we're consistently zeroing in and developing the indicators. So even as powerful as these things are, they're getting better and better every day, which we're really excited about. So we see, what was I going to say here? Oh, yeah. So we get this oblivion right here. And what you see, and if you know technical analysis, again, or pattern trading, you probably know that when price breaks out of a pattern, it's very common, almost entirely common, for it to go back and try to test the place where it broke out. What we think is really cool, this is a really cool feature of the flow of time particularly, is that when we have a breakout of our trend, you see it come back and test, and look, it's just so on the money. It's just surgical here, and it gets rejected and off of it. You'll actually see this happen depending on the symbol and the type of volume during that period of the year. You'll see the wave of eons act the very same way. So you can tell here that it's supporting it. A lot of times what you'll see, wow, if this dump wasn't so gnarly, if it only bounced to here, almost for certain what you would see is this wave roll over and price come up and test it and reject off of it and then back down. We're always on Heikin Ashi candles. One of the things that we're always trying to do is to keep it absolutely simple and completely robust. So we want the most powerful signals on the market, hands down, and for it to also just be really straightforward, because it's one of the problems traders have is just things become too complicated too quick because there's so many different ways to trade. Sorry, we're getting some alerts here. And so we can see that, oh yeah, so we're on Heikin Ashi almost always. They keep things really clean. They let you see trend and direction so much easier and maybe not easier, but definitely quicker. Every once in a while, I'll jump to regular candles, and let's do that only because I want to look at this. This is just amazing. This is Bitcoin currently. We've dropped in the last 4-hour candle. We've dropped 4,000. A couple of candles before that. Oh my goodness, we were at 122. We're down $10,000. It's already made a 12% drop. Wow. Yeah, there's this is potentially nuclear. We'll see how everything goes. Yeah, not a lot more to say here um, on Bitcoin. Also, you probably know this if you're familiar with trading. Um, if if not, it's an excellent learning opportunity. Markets really love to expand and contract, and when they contract for a very long time, or have been expanding for a very long time, like longer than normal, longer than they should be, then you get these really explosive moves in the market. And generally, you'll only get those a couple times a year, maybe. I mean, on specific symbols, you may get them here and there, but I just mean market wide. And whenever that happens, the best thing that you can possibly do, unless you're just trying to trade momentum or something, which, if you want to do that, go for it. You get to decide what you want to do. But one of the best things to do is just to go hands off and go for a hike or have a beer or whatever it is you like to do. Go watch a ball game, read a book, so on and so forth. Go tell everybody that you love them. That's probably the most important thing you should be doing. It's just to go hands off for a while, because you will get eaten alive when markets move this hard, this fast, because they can move explosively in the opposite direction, and you get this incredible volatility in the market, and you can really just pile up the losses. So actually, that's a really great idea. Let's look at Bitcoin, and we're going to go back and look at, we're just going to look at price here. Sorry, I've got all these things going off. And we're going to go back. Let's see. Wow. It has been a while since the COVID lows, but this is such a great learning opportunity. I'm sure many of you know this, and if you don't, let's go. This is it right here, I think. 2021, nope. 2020, COVID lows. That's it. Yep. You can see right here. Let's see if it'll allow me to stay there. Nope. Probably because, well, great. I've lost my way here. There we go. Well, keep losing my way. Well, point being, and if I thought anybody was watching, I would hang in there with it. But point being is that when you get these really incredible dumps where people get really fearful in the market, and they think they're going to lose all their Bitcoin, so they sell their Bitcoin where it's at. What happens is so many people sell, price dumps so quickly, and people that are waiting to buy when it dumps out really low scoop it all up, and it just rockets back in the other direction. So I remember I was actually watching the screen when Bitcoin had its biggest dump during that COVID low, that COVID dump, which was fascinating to watch. Luckily, I wasn't in a trade. But what you saw is it bounces, it whips back, like really low, really high, back and forth, and it starts to level out, and then it happens again. So the market is just trying to find equilibrium. And so it's just really important that you know there's always going to be another trade. This thing's going to level itself out. You just need to wait until it does. So for anyone that may be watching this, maybe that's a learning opportunity, and we may be starting to witness something here similar. We'll certainly see. We can see here. Let's get back on you can see here that there's a lot of buyers down in here. And so temporarily this thing has already bounced back up from, oh no, let's see, it's actually at 113. This 116 is just the average price. So it's at 113,000. So just in the course of me talking for a few minutes, it's back up $1,000. And this thing could really get wild. We'll see. That's probably about it for the day. I was just a little excited to get on here and show everyone that that the indicator on Ethereum here was just excellent, We called the tippy top on it. You can see we expected to catch support, and when it started to just get weak and bleed like this, oh man, that's just a feeling of knowing that your team's about to win, and this thing dumps out. You get the oblivion signal, and just another great win for the Foresight Suite. All right, I'm gonna hang it up right there, and if you're interested in checking out the Foresight Suite, check out everything about it, foresightscrolls.com. And if you just want to see more about the way that it works, check out the tutorial video here on the channel too. All right, until next time, bye.